Welcome back to the Bronc Stampede. I'm Caleb Keller.
And I'm Marissa Brenneman. Model United Nations has been pretty busy this year as they are preparing to travel to New York City over spring break.
Marissa gives us an inside look on the MUN team.
Everyone supports the football team and other athletic clubs, but many people do not recognize the academic clubs within the school. Academic Challenge has been around for a couple of years, as well as a recently started math club. Model United Nations is one of the many clubs here that pushes students to expand their horizons.
It's Model United Nations, where basically you get assigned a country and a committee, and then you meet with your committee and all the other delegates and try and reach a resolution on whatever topic you get assigned.
It's a simulation of the actual United Nations.
5 years ago, when Adam Metcalf was a teacher in the district, he wanted to start a club, and I said I would help him. And so we did that, and we started with 13 students that first year, then we grew to 25, and he left, but we just didn't want the program to stop, and now we're in our 5th year.
I think MUN is great for cultivating skills for the future for students, like thinking on your feet and things like that are really important for the professional world.
I think MUN is important because I think all civic education programs are really important to this school.
I think it's an academic program that challenges students to grow and stretch themselves in a number of ways.
So it kind of forces you to educate yourself on topics that you might not even be aware of or that you wouldn't otherwise look into.
Basically, I don't prepare at all. I just get on the bus and go and then write everything on the way there.
So I usually just do a lot of research and then go on from there and write a position paper.
Write a position paper beforehand and submit it to get best position paper. Or if you're a baller like me, you just go and win anyways. So
Historically, our team has done very well. We usually win some best delegate awards whenever we go to a conference.
Although the MUN team typically wins some type of award, they still push themselves every meet to get better. It's official that the MUN team will be competing at the International Conference in the United Nations building over spring break and is looking for your support.
Well, good luck to the MUN kids.
I wish I had a boyfriend. Wait, I kind of do.
Why would you say that, Marissa?
The musical, The Boyfriend, just inspired me to up my game in the love life department.
SHS Drama Music has been practicing and working for about 2 months now. Let's take a look at the SHS production of The Boyfriend. Who did you play in the musical?
I played Alphonse.
I was Macy Merriweather in the musical.
So I am Tony, and he's one of the leads in this production. Basically what it is he's a messenger boy at the beginning, and then he reveals his true character at the end.
I was the character Polly Brown.
Okay, and what was your character like?
She started out the show just like wanting to fit in with everybody else. She's like in this major clique, and they're all just like boy crazy, but her father won't let her have a boyfriend, and that went into too much detail, but it's fine.
So how did you prepare for your role?
I spent a lot of time working with Quentin, who played Tony, outside of rehearsals, and we were just running our scenes constantly, and that helped us develop that connection.
We do a lot of rehearsals, but also actually something that's interesting about drama and theater is we do character development sheets, and so you go through a sheet that just tries to ask you about all those little things that you might not have thought of in a character, and that's I think what is different with theater than other sports and things.
I got really close with all of the boys in the cast. Something that I really wanted to do is I wanted to make them all feel comfortable around me. They're high school boys, so they don't really have that comfort level yet, so I really made sure that they all kind of knew me on a personal level.
His role was a French character, and I changed him to British because that was easier.
Okay, and can you give me more in-depth of what his character's like?
Well, he's just a boy looking for a girl. That's about it.
Okay. So what are the challenges you faced in the musical?
Staying in character on stage in front of people. It's kind of hard, especially when something embarrassing happened.
Well, right now I'm sick, so I've actually been taking steroids and stuff to help get me not sick. But other than that, Ms. Dukowski has really done a really amazing job of preparing all of us.
The hardest part about doing this is the scheduling piece, because you have to work around everybody's schedule and be really thoughtful on what needs how much time for how long and how many people are in that number or that scene. That is by far the most logistical piece that can be very complicated at times. And trying to get the schedule done a week prior so that the kids can plan is challenging as well, because some things need more time than you realize, and then you see it, and then you have to try again.
What was your favorite part about the musical?
Like definitely just like getting a chance to really connect with like my fellow lead. I've never had that experience before, as well as like this cast has just been really, really great, better than others that I've experienced. They're just great people doing great things.
I just love being with everybody else in the production. I love the group and being in. I'm not in too many large group numbers, which is a little bit disappointing. But I just love working with everybody else and just the everyday, learning how to tap, learning how to dance in certain things, and then just everyday practices, getting to work with people, getting to hone in this or that. But really what I enjoy so much about it is the people who I get to work with is really why I love doing it.
Cool.
Probably the tango,
Why is that?
because Zane drops, what's her face? Morgan.
My favorite part about this process is the kids. I love working with high schoolers, and they're very talented, and they are very driven, and hopefully they will walk out better people than they were when they came in.
It's about that time of the season where students at SHS run, throw, and jump for a sport. Yes, I'm talking about indoor track.
Let's see how this year's team is doing.
Track? It's winter. You can't run outside. But wait, it's indoor. The indoor track team seems to be having a good year. Let's ask them how they're doing.
I think we're doing pretty good.
I think we're doing pretty good.
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 Good. Good.
But the real question is the track team going to win state?
We're on our way. I think we're going to win indoor state.
The coaches know what they're doing, and they know how to get us there, so I definitely think we are.
I think we're having a great year so far. We've had some ups and downs. With our first meet was great. Our second meet we struggled a little bit, but we're really coming around, and we've been doing both really well in both the girls and boys so far.
I think the coaches are excited that we have some good athletes in a lot of different events, and I think that's going to help us down the stretch.
A lot of the runners also have goals they would like to reach by the end of this track season.
My main goal is to letter, so I want to try to get all 10 points.
Individually is I really hope I can win the 800 meter and 400 meter championship. As a team goal, I think we can win a state championship or bring home a team trophy, and then also the 4x2 and 4x4 relays. Hopefully we can win those.
Win the 4x4 and place in the 400.
Indoor track is not all good and fun. There are a few frustrating aspects.
When you don't make finals by 0.04 of a second.
Not being that good, because it takes a lot of work, and that's frustrating to me because it doesn't come easy, so I definitely have to work for it.
A little bit with our facility, sometimes with our injuries, and those are two things that you can't control. You just have to work around those, and just with the weather sometimes, because we have to be outside, so those are the things that I get frustrated with.
We can only do certain things. It's one of those cases where these kids, they believe in the program. There's a lot of days that it's cold and they're outside. There's a lot of days that we're freezing, and you can see the fire in their face. So they get through it. Our workouts in some cases are dictated by the weather, but these kids do a great job of fighting.
Let's hope our team finishes strong and wins a state title or two.
Wow, that is awesome.
True that, but have you ever wondered what the wrestlers go through?
Not really. Why?
Well, think about it. They wrestle each other with little clothing to see who will pin the other on the ground while sweating a lot.
I guess that is kind of interesting, but I'm sure there's more to the sport than that. Let's find out more about wrestling.
All sports claim to give their blood, sweat, and tears, but with wrestling, this couldn't be more true. To find out more about this grueling sport, we got right into the action.
So what's the hardest part about wrestling?
Definitely the practices. Practices are definitely the hardest part.
So for you, what's the hardest part of wrestling?
I'd say probably like the mental side, like overcoming like yourself as your biggest opponent.
What's the most challenging part about wrestling for you?
For me, just figuring out different moves because I don't have my legs, so I gotta adjust to that. But that's.
What's your favorite memory from managing?
Seeing Thomas, I'm not really sure his last name. He's the one-legged gentleman who he won his first match a couple weeks ago, so that was awesome.
What's the most rewarding part of wrestling for you?
I'd say probably like all the memories it makes you a better person, like fight through adversity.
And what's your favorite memory from all your years of wrestling?
I don't know. Just being with all the guys, being with all my friends and stuff every weekend. So.
And then what's your ultimate goal for wrestling?
I placed at state this year.
Who's the best/toughest manager in the state?
Boo Bear, that's me. Yeah, definitely, no doubt.
What's the best part about being a manager?
I'm probably the only dude in the state of Wyoming who actually manages. So, like before wrestling, there's meetings, and so the coaches and wrestlers are all in different rooms, and then it's me and 35 other high school girls in a room having breakfast. That's fascinating.
Video gaming has increasingly been elevated to the status of sports, esports.
Mac checks with the students about this year's hottest and least popular games.
Would you consider yourself to be a gamer?
Yeah.
Yes, I would.
I mean, I like video games. I play them a lot.
I think that there are a lot of negative connotations that go along with the word gamer, especially as it applies to girl gamers, but I like to play video games, so I guess.
What kind of gamer would you consider yourself to be?
Like, what do I play on? I play on the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One.
I'm mostly into the action genre of video games. Examples of this would be maybe Dark Souls 3, Dark Souls 2. I guess Call of Duty is also a pretty good game.
I don't know. I basically do it for fun. I'm not very competitive unless I have a specifically competitive game. Mostly I like single players or like multiplayers where you can play with your friends. I have some multiplayers where you fight other people, but I don't have very many of those.
So I kind of tend to go for two different types of games. I either go for the older games that I have that nostalgic feeling with that I played growing up, or I go for the mostly Bethesda games, honestly. I like stuff with a good plot that doesn't just have that repetitive nature to it.
Time to end this little game.
So what do you think is one of the best games of the previous year?
It depends on what genre of game you're in. I liked Battlefront a little, like Star Wars Battlefront 2. But it's also one of those games with the pay to win thing, so I didn't really like that.
With the previous year, a good game that I think was pretty good. If any of you have heard of it, I think Hyper Light Drifter was a pretty good one.
Okay, so this isn't really one of the games, but I don't know if you've heard about the Super Nintendo Classic. I was super pumped to hear that that was a thing. We had a Super Nintendo growing up that my parents played before I was even born. And so I was really excited to learn that I could play Super Mario World and Donkey Kong and all of those like old like retro games again.
What do you look forward for the future of video games?
I'm hoping to maybe see some improvements on maybe Hotline Miami 3.
I look forward to new Bethesda games like Elder Scrolls, the next one-player one that is like the originals, like Oblivion and Skyrim.
In the future, I hope that the maps keep getting bigger and that the creators are learning from the mistakes that have been made by the copy-paste games.
What do you think is one of the biggest disappointment from video games right now?
I think the loot crates are one of the biggest disappointments. A lot of games have implemented loot crates that you can buy with out of game currency, which is kind of a disappointment. Like Halo, they went to that system. A lot of other companies did as well.
I think the biggest disappointment as of right now is that more games are requiring you to pay to level up, and that is driving me crazy.
I don't like games that don't have like a good backstory.
Okay, I know a lot of people might be mad at me about this, but I did not like Nier Automata. That game was not exactly the best. I thought it wasn't as good as it could have been. Honestly, even with the difficulties set up and everything, the game feels like it's kind of played for you.
The majority of high school students have had their first kiss, but what does a typical first kiss look like?
Mason Terry investigates on what a usual first kiss for students and staff is.
In the movies, kisses are portrayed as magical, amazing experience. But is that how they really go? Or do they go something like this? We asked Sheridan High School students and staff to tell us what really went down in that special moment.
First kiss. Honestly, it was devastating.
I'm pretty disappointed about it, so I don't want to talk about it.
It was good. Not really. It was okay.
It was phenomenal. It was the summer of '63, and I was a dance instructor at a summer camp.
It was unrequited love, and I don't think the other party was necessarily expecting it to happen.
It was, the one I remember, it was my mommy's kiss. She loved me so much.
So my first kiss was with It was very interesting, and I didn't expect it to be like so wet, I guess.
Okay, it was pretty weird. We were having a sleepover in my pop-up camper. First gross sign. I had known him from school. His name was Juan Ramon Chacon. And I was like kind of weirded out, but I did have some blueberry lip smackers on, so I was like, let's just go for it. And it was horrible.
Well, it was a very strange event. I was in a bush with a random girl. We kissed, and it was it was like, it wasn't like a tongue kiss because we're 10. We're not getting French on each other, but it was a nice little smoochy smooch.
Again, devastating. I was rejected brutally, thrown down a flight of stairs, in fact.
First kiss was actually a make out, so that's double points for me. My dad actually ended up walking in on that.
I was hospitalized, and I don't know if I'll ever love again.
I gotta say, Marissa, that was honestly kind of gross to me.
What do you mean? I thought it was kind of romantic.
Well, wouldn't that fall into PDA?
Only if it's in the school.
PDA, public display of affection, plagues unsuspecting students and staff. Although these couples committing these acts of love clearly are fine with displaying themselves, what does literally everyone else think of this? Okay, so what's your opinion on PDA?
I think they should save it for after school. Here's not really a good place to do that. I don't like seeing it.
Well, sometimes it's too much.
I just walk right between them. Bam.
I think that people start sucking face in the hallways and I can't do it. I can't do it.
As a teacher and as an educator, I find it very distracting from the school day, and also it's against the rules. So please do not have PDA in the schools.
How much PDA do you see a day?
A lot. Like in the halls is disgusting.
Can you give me an example?
Like all those goth people over there, they always make out at lunch.
So this spot over here is the normal spot. It doesn't seem like people are grazing upon the PDA land. Oh, sorry.
No good.
Well, every time I walk to second period, I see these two people make out, and it kind of sticks me out. And I don't know how teachers don't see it. But if that could be toned down, like a little hug would be better.
I don't know. Kids like making out on the Bronc, I guess.
On the Bronc?
Yeah, like kids will sit on the statue and like make out and stuff. It's gross.
Yeah, how long should a hug be?
Like, no longer than 5 seconds.
Well, there's like those couples that'll stand there and like hug for like 5 minutes straight, and that's just a little weird, so don't do that.
How much PDA have you committed in this school?
I have committed no PDA in this school besides hugging.
Are you sure about that?
I am 100% sure about that.
It seems that the main consensus is that teachers and staff are not the biggest fans of PDA. It seems to be fine to hug and hold hands, but nobody really wants to see two people making out. Here's a good example of what students should do if they are witnessing PDA.
Hey, no PDA. Yeah, get them out of here. Take them off.
No. I really want to watch a movie, but I'm not sure what movie I want to watch.
Well, Marissa, I can surely suggest a great movie.
You have been working on the first edition of Panda's movie review. Let's check it out.
Hello, welcome to Panda's Movie Review. Today we are taking a look at the newest addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Black Panther. Overall, Black Panther was a spectacular movie with a lot of good qualities. Let's go through the good things first. Character development seemed to be the main goal of this movie, and Marvel definitely accomplished this. King T'Challa, aka the Black Panther, played by Chadwick Boseman, was originally introduced in Captain America: Civil War. All anyone could really read from his character at the time was that he was a king and a secret superhero with an awesome suit. But in his solo film, we dive deeper into who he actually is. We now know the struggles T'Challa goes through in order to be a good king, but also do the right thing. Although his younger sister, Shuri, played by Letitia Wright, is the brain behind the new enhanced technology of Wakanda, we can observe how intelligent and wise he is. He always has a plan and has clearly trained his whole life to know what to do in dangerous situations, such as invasions of his nation. Although T'Challa is the main character of Black Panther, we can definitely relate with Eric Killmonger, played by Michael B. Jordan. In the film, he is introduced in a museum where he plans to steal artifacts for the vibranium inside of them. He is later joined with Andrew Serkis as the character of Claw in the museum scene to assist Killmonger. We may not relate to Killmonger's homicidal tendencies, but they can definitely relate to the sense of being an outcast and oppressed within society. Killmonger wanted to overthrow T'Challa in order to become the lower class and the oppressed. His character was authentic and followed the comic book origin and is definitely one of the best Marvel villains on screen so far. But, like every movie, there were quite a few cons and mistakes for Black Panther that I had noticed. Black Panther was not perfect. To start, the CGI in some scenes was poorly done. In the scene where the whole village was on the waterfalls for the ceremony to challenge the king for the throne, it looked as if the Wakandan citizens were simply copied and pasted over and over again. Also, within T'Challa's vision with his father, the Panthers did not look as real as they could have been. These CGI mistakes were barely noticeable, and the filmmakers made up for it with the beautiful cinematic views. Mixing with the Wakandan lands, the high-tech city, and the purple skyline in T'Challa's vision, the CGI in these scenes were definitely spectacular. Overall, I would give Black Panther an A. Although there were faults in the movie, the majority of it was a well-made movie with one of the best character development storylines in the MCU. Well, until the next movie review.
Well, that's it for this issue. I'm Marissa Brenneman.
And I'm Caleb Keller. See you next time on the Bronc Stampede.